Yeah, and that's so frustrating because that's not efficient. Yeah, just sit
Oh,
there. And, yeah. So, so yeah, that's something that's really bothered me lately because a lot of times we'll grab a dust extractor and we'll grab the sanders and we have the hoses in a separate sustainer, and sometimes you just space on the hose. But if the hose was just with the dust extractor every time, then it wouldn't be a question. Um, so it's too bad they didn't make one, or I just need to like epoxy like a sustainer to the top of the extractor or something or whatever. But yeah. Um,
they make the don't they make you can just put the sustainer on top of the extractor.
yeah, you can totally, like, not the new Festool ones that we got, those small ones. I tried those out, and the Merca ones you can, but the Merca ones are big. They're big
Yeah,
vacuum. So you throw a sustainer on there, and it's just like, I don't know. The MIDI's a good size. It's a good vacuum.
I like the MIDI a lot. I like the old ones better than the new ones, though.
Do you really?
Like, I don't know. I feel like all that digital stuff is not that necessary.
For sure, I would never use it. Yeah,
It's like, like this is a gimmick. It does not help my day.
sure.
And
Yeah,
I felt like the inside was nicer to store your hose and cord
right.
on the than the new ones.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, shit. If they made that hose storage just a tiny bit taller, like you could just fire the hose in there, it'd be awesome.
It
So
really,
yeah.
and I love that idea of keeping an extra bag someplace on the in the vacuum.
Yeah, or more, or like multiple bags, like even just because like there kind of is space for one bag, but then you've got to be organized. Like if you could throw 5 bags in there, you're good for months, you
Yeah.
know? So that would be handy. But yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know what else really. The storage locker is always pretty organized. Yeah, I don't know. Coverage, make sure your products work well. So here's a funny thing. You know how the trend is going off white? So we painted, I don't know how many houses in off white. It's been a big issue because coverage with off white is very hard. Um, so what happened is like you're competing against guys who will price for 2 coats, but then end up billing a lot later for the third and fourth coats. I don't know if you've ever run into that, but it'll be a repaint, and you're like, okay, it'll be 10 grand, but I know that I have to do 3 coats because it's cloud white, or I know I have to do 4 coats because it's simply white, or whatever. So we came up with our own custom off-white color. It's NWR White. It's a guaranteed 2 coat system in Aura Matte. And so if you're happy with our color, which we've designed to go with like all the typical woodworking Canmore, then I can guarantee it in 2 coats, and it is 2 coats. So that makes things pretty efficient. I bet I've painted 20 houses in that color in the last 6 months.
Where did that come from? Where did you just added a bunch of white and like
Yeah, so like there's certain colorants that cover better than others, and there's certain off whites that cover better than others. So I started with the best covering off white, and then I started boosting it from there until basically the can was full, and then just tried it, and we couldn't believe it. Like I don't, did you see the last video of us rolling that ceiling out with the white? That's the color. So the rolls almost covered that in 1 coat. And then I got a lot of comments on there. Oh, you should have been using these wide rollers and the wider rollers and blah blah. And well, we use the 9-inch rollers for a reason, and that's so we can roll like a 1/4 inch away from the woodwork, and that's that saves us a third cut.
don't question NWR, folks.
Well, I mean, question me, please question me, because then I can learn as well if there's something I can improve on. I don't know everything, but like, yeah, the questions are good. I appreciate them. It's
How
the
about
only way
this?
we're gonna learn.
Question in the DMs.
Sure, yeah.
Those people question you in the DMs or on your post.
I don't care where they question me, man.
I don't think I think it's disrespectful to question a business page, a company that's in business to question what they're doing through the comments is disrespectful.
Oh, really? I've never thought about that. I mean,
There's a private messaging part of the app that's very effective. And
yeah,
if I've ever seen anything where I'm like, I wonder if they know this thing, or
yeah,
like, I'll happily send a private message to someone saying, hey, like, no offense, but I saw this and maybe this could be easier if you did it this way.
yeah,
But to go on someone's business page and
yeah,
go, dude, you don't know what you're doing, and here's the way you should do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't look good. Yeah, you're right, I guess. It's
I just delete them. I instantly delete all of them
oh, okay.
because I don't even care what you said and if it's true. Like,
Right.
this is just not the forum.
Right, yeah. It's not productive for anybody, and it's unfortunate because really the only reason they're doing that is probably because they're just not very happy. Like you don't do that if you're a happy person. You just so
If you spent some time rock climbing, you're not doing.
exactly, man. Exactly. Totally.
If you hung by your fingers
Yeah,
for long enough,
totally.
you're not doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your record for hanging by your fingers?
Oh God, depends on the size of the hold or whatever.
Oh,
Lots of lots of different lots of different training tactics. Yeah, we
how
train
long
every day.
from a single finger?
How long can I hold from a single finger? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll time it. I'll post it for you.
Yeah, I'd love to see it because I can tell you I can hang this many seconds.
Yeah, I probably can't hang that long either, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm training hard right now because I've got a bet going for the summer, $1,000 bet, rock climbing bet. So,
What's the bet?
just between a buddy and me and myself, like who can basically climb a certain grade the fastest. So it's kind of a strategic bet. So you got to stay fit and stay healthy, and then be pretty productive with your time. So.
And the wall that you're climbing is not like set yet. Like you can't practice that spot.
So that's the bet is like you pick, it's a grade. So you have to pick some route outside and you do it in a number of days. Okay. So if you practice on it, then that counts towards like how much it's taking you. Okay. So if I do the route in 2 days and he does the route in 3 days, then I win the bet.
Okay.
Does that make
I
sense?
don't know enough about rock climbing. What is that, like a 12B?
14C.
14C?
Yeah.
That's like, is that as hard as it gets?
No, it's not even close, man. It goes up to 15D right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What's the highest that you've ever climbed?
14B.
14B. So that the one that is your hardest is the one you're competing on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that's nuts.
It's good motivation, man. Like it's really good. Like I've noticed, like I feel like I'm eating better. I'm like stretching every night for 2 hours. Like I'm really like I know it's only $1,000, but I'm really taking this shit seriously. It's not about the money. I just want to beat them. So
Yeah. When is the bet taking place?
it's for the whole year. So it's until January 1st.
So I don't get it. What is until January 1st?
Okay, do you really want me to explain it? Okay,
Yeah.
so so basically, like there's outdoor rock climbs all over, thousands of them everywhere, of different grades, right? So all I have to do is climb a 14C. It can be any one, and I just have to pick one that I think is going to suit me the best, and I have to train for it, and I have to go and I have to work on it, and I have to try and do it in the least amount of days possible.
Okay.
So I'm not even going to start trying it and probably until August because I want to be at my fittest and before I try it. Okay. I have an advantage over this guy because he's having a baby on August 24th. So, but he's got an advantage on me right now because he owns a construction company. He's one of the generals I work for, and he doesn't work, man. His company's dialed. He works like 2 hours a week and he's just climbing all day. So he's probably training right now, like it's pretty fun.
Oh my God, dude. You are viciously competitive then.
Sometimes, like, I mean, this is more of a fun thing. Like if I lose, I'm not going to be upset. I'll be happy for him and I'll be like, it'll just be a fun thing. But I guess in a way, yeah.
And do you think that, so how is that played into your business then?
Yeah, I definitely want to be like, I mean, I don't know if I'm competitive in my business because I want to be the best. I think I'm competitive in my business because I want the job security. So I can feel confident to take time off to do the things I love to do. So yeah, I'm very competitive with that for that reason. But like, I can tell you right now, like painting and running a business is not my passion in life. I chose to do it, and I want to be good at it, and I love doing it. But you know, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd still probably refinish a few kitchens a year, and I still love what I do. But I'd be hanging out with my kids and rock climbing most of the time. So
I think that knowing what makes you tick is so valuable in life.
yeah, me too. It definitely pushes me in business. I'm never gonna be like a super rich painter with like 80 employees. I know that, and I don't want that, and I'm okay with that. I want to maintain a company the same size as we are right now, doing about $800,000 or $900,000 a year, and with 6 people, and that works for me. And if we can make that more efficient, then that's great. So
that's tremendous. I think we all could learn a lot from that.
yeah, I don't know, maybe not. It's hard to say because like it's scary to try and grow a business because you want to get people always want to get like off the tools. That's the goal. That's the opposite goal for me. Like I'd way rather have things the way they are right now, and I just like to go like just plaster that fireplace for 4 hours and then just go rock climbing for the rest of the day and have somebody else deal with like the other stuff. I don't want to be the like when I get home after a day of driving around in the truck, I feel like I went to the shopping mall all day. Like it feels awful. And when I get home from just simple sanding or prepping door frames, I have energy, man. I feel good, you know, like it's different feeling. And so I go with how I feel. And, you know, driving around in the truck is not suited to my lifestyle, and it is to other people. So it just depends who you are.
That's kind of my point, is figuring out who you are and building a company around that, I think is awesome. So to see you build a company around who you are and what makes you tick,
yeah,
that's impressive. You know, I want to be more like Nick, even if I don't necessarily need my company to be like your company, but I want to continue to harness my biology, what makes me tick, and build what I want, right? And actually think about, what do I want? You know, how many people really stop to go, what do I really want?
Yeah.
You know, instead of just doing all the time.
Yeah. I think that's really important for sure. Because yeah, it's not hard. Like if you're passionate about business, you will be successful. 100%. If you're just grinding every day and you don't really know why you're doing it, then you might not be as successful, even though you're working just as hard.
Yeah.
And you probably won't be happy.
It's the living to work and working to live.
Yeah. And some people, that's one and the same. You know, living to work is their happiness, and that's great. I'm actually very envious of those people because they will be very quote unquote successful, but successful is a relative term.
Yeah,
I feel very lucky and very successful in my life. But
dude, you're insanely successful. You're doing what you want, right?
Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, there are.
I just lost the audio there. That's weird. Can everybody else hear him? I can't hear Nick. Can anybody else? Somebody say something in the comments if you can hear Nick. Oh, we got a loading screen. Maybe this will fix it. The joys of Instagram. We're going to give Instagram a second to catch up. It wants to catch up. I can see it. It's doing lots of loading. Oh, man. Yeah, we don't have any audio here. I know this is really riveting stuff, folks. You know what I might do? Too many kids on the internet. If only IG was as efficient as NWR. All right, Nick, I'm going to kick you out and invite you back. I wonder if I can do that without shutting this thing down. It doesn't look like I can. I'm going to remove you and then come back. All right, so we just removed our guest. Screw him. Get the heck out of here, Nick. No, obviously not. This has been an awesome discussion. Nick, hopefully we can have him come right back in and it'll just like kick back on. I've noticed sometimes Instagram, when you do a pause like he did earlier and made that text message, like 45 minutes later, it all of a sudden like shuts down because there's like, can't keep up with like buffering or something. I don't really know. Listen to me, I feel like I know how Instagram works. But let me see if Nick is back. I'm going to invite Nick back, and we're going to continue this conversation. If you guys have questions, a couple people have, we're going to ask them, but feel free to put questions down at the bottom.
Did it work?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay, cool. Sorry, man. I don't know what's going on.
We'll blame it on Instagram.
Okay. Or by technology. I'm not very good at technology.
No. I think what happens is when you do that, when you texted earlier, it paused your screen.
Right.
And every time I've ever had anyone have a pause or anything happen, 30 minutes later, 45 minutes later, there ends up being an issue.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Buffered and buffered and buffered for as long as it could.
Huh. I'm getting so many texts right now too. I don't know how to stop them. So
you really can't. That is one problem that I have. I go to airplane mode, do not disturb, and Wi-Fi calling shut off. So I won't get phone calls. But I talked to the guys at AT&T, and they're like, yeah, you can't not get text messages if you're connected to Wi-Fi.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
Homecoat UK said, what creates a successful business?
What creates a successful business? I think that's up to the owner of the business to decide, I guess. Yeah, there's a lot of definitions of that. I think it depends on who you are.
Yeah.
I look at businesses that like have 80 employees and they're 40 years old and they look like they're 60, and that's not successful to me. but they're happy. Maybe they have millions of dollars in the bank and that's what makes them happy. So maybe that's successful for them. I don't know. Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point we were talking about before, is like what makes you successful is, have you thought deeply about what do you want out of life, and are you chasing that?
Right.
Who cares what other people think? Are you doing what makes you happy?
Totally. Yeah. I really don't care what other people think. It's probably bad. And that's when you get older, that happens more and more. It's crazy.
I love it, man.
That's why I don't mind the comments on Instagram. I just don't care. But
yeah, I'm too hyper focused on how our company's being perceived, and I'm just like, I just don't have time for that. Like, if you want to, I get 40 DMs a day. Yeah. I'm happy to talk about something in the DMs for a minute. Yeah. But don't put it out on my feed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's a question. We haven't done this in a while.
Okay.
Question, Bristled Patina. When you scaled your business, decided to hire permanent employees, what was critical to sustaining the business and customer satisfaction?
What was critical to sustaining the business and customer satisfaction? Okay, well, I think that starts with the team. Okay, so I guess you could say my mission statement for my business is I want everybody on our team to be physically, mentally, and financially sustainable here. And not just sustainable, but like even more so. And then I think if that is there, customer satisfaction just comes organically. So I get a lot of messages from clients. Like the last kitchen the guys did last week, the clients bought the Ivan and Timothy both like these really expensive bottles of wine just as thank yous, and gave them $100 each. It's just like that makes me feel very proud. So yeah, you'll have customer satisfaction if your employees are happy.
That is not talked about enough, and that has been my experience as well.
Yeah.
it starts with having a great team that is being stimulated and empowered, and their greatness is facilitated. And if you can get great people and make them happy,
Yeah.
there you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, I think even if you even if you deliver a subpar paint job, which we don't, but even if you did, but had amazing customer service, your clients would probably be happier than delivering a 10 out of 10 paint job with really poor service and grumpy people
All day.
all day. Yeah, for sure.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
Bristol also asked, when you decided to scale, did you take a hit to your personal revenue?
No, it's been a long process for me. I've always done things. I've never operated out of any sort of debt, so I've always just, yeah, I've never, like, we make money, we buy equipment, we grow pretty organically, I think. So no, I've never taken a hit. I never went like it was never like, oh, all of a sudden I need to hire 6 people, and it was like, I hired my 6th person, and I had 5 last year, and I had 4 the year before, and I had 3 the year before that, and so and then I had like 6 or 7 the year before that, but those were really big jobs. That was something different. So yeah, it's been pretty organic, I would say. I'm not a very good business person. I'm reading a business book right now about all that stuff, but I'll be honest, I only read it to make me fall asleep. So I get a better night's sleep, so that's better for my business.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, I'm not a very, I would say I'm not a very good business person in that regard. Like, if you want to talk like business technical terms and all these things, there's one thing I really want to start looking into, and that's profit sharing with my employees. That's one thing I got out of the book that I'd like to look into and see if that would be something that they'd be interested in. Because it seems like our team right now is a pretty long-term team, and that's really important. So try and find it. You never know what you're going to get, but you try and find people that are going to stick around. And you also want to try and make that happen.
Did you see the podcast I did with Rick Holtz?
No.
There's if you go back and listen, there's a guy, H.J. Holtz is the company. Rick Holtz was on the show 2-3 guests ago.
Okay. He
has an incredibly successful profit sharing program. They've given out $1 million to the company within the last 6 years.
I've seen that one actually. They do their average paint job's $5,000, and they do like 2.2 million a year or something. Or?
It's a different one.
Oh, a different one. Okay, sorry.
Big hulking Virginia guy. He's
okay.
awesome.
No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that one. No.
You got to listen to it. But
okay.
He has a system where they open up the books sort of to the company at the start of the year, and they're like, all right, here's our projected revenue. Here's our net profit goal.
Yeah.
Every dollar of net profit, every dollar of profit above our net profit goal gets split 50 between the company and the team. And then your percentage of the hours worked in the year determines your percentage of that pool of money that the employees split.
Interesting.
So we're going to be implementing that a year from now. So this year we're getting our base set of numbers, because Carney's come on, where we have a lot better financial tracking. And so we're getting our base numbers to work off of and make estimates off of for next year. And then I'm very excited to implement like exactly that. Like, here's our revenue goal, here's our net profit goal, and every dollar above that, I can't wait to split 50-50 with the team. And he's done it for 6 years. Now he has 65 employees, but he's done it for 6 years, and they've given the bonus pool to the employees has been over $1 million.
Wow, that's impressive. See, I'd like to hear that for sure. I'm very, very transparent with finances with everybody that works with us. I tell them exactly what every job, what I quoted it at, and how much stuff costs, and what I have in the bank, and what I make personally, and all these things. Like, I don't care. It is what it is. So.
Yeah, so I think you're perfectly set up for that. And then I think it makes a lot of sense that, like, we want that ownership mentality from our team. And the company does well, I want my team to do well. I think there's a lot to be said from that. I'm really excited about implementing it. I can't wait to cut those checks.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's super exciting. I'm stoked you're doing that. I'll probably call you and ask you more about that later.
Yeah. We need to talk about your on-site spray setup.
Oh yeah, okay, sure.
It's pretty badass. It's not standard, and the people need to know.
Yeah, it's badass. I think it's badass. I never say that. It's
All
like,
right, so walk me through it.
okay, so it takes like all of like 5 minutes to set up generally. It's in the trailer. We have a 5,500 CFM fan that we generally use. We've got a lot of fans, but this is the one we use most of the time, 95% of the time. It just seems like it has a good static pressure to it, which means, if you've got like wind blowing in, it can still handle that. Or if you've got like different pressures happening in the house, it can handle that. We've sucked sewer gas out of toilet gaskets without even like, if we forgot to open the windows and doors in the house. Very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically we have a wooden template for doorways, and it's just 30 inches wide by your standard door height. And then we got some other scrap pieces of wood kicking around. So we basically just stick that in a doorway. If we need to add on a little scrap to the left or a little scrap to the right or a little height, we just do that. And then generally, a lot of times we'll just rip out the weather stripping of the door, and then we'll fire screws through that piece of wood, and then it's very secure. We'll run one piece of tape around, and then if we can't screw it in, then we just tape it. We just tape it. We just end up using a little more tape, and that works really well. Probably the key component is the flange. So if you have fans, get flanges made from sheet metal companies. It's very cheap. Like, just take your fan to them and say, I need a flange for this fan. And you just get the flange made. It slides right on, and it screws right to the wood. And then you have this great seal, and it takes seconds to put up. So I see a lot of taping happening and a lot of poly and crap, and that's just useless to me. But and then there's the box, and that's the part that kind of sucks. It's big, but you need four 20 by 20 filters to handle the 5,500 CFM. So that's what we use. You can handle it by yourself, but two people is easier, just to bring it in or whatever. And that just slides right on. It's got a flange on the back too, and that slides on. So it's very, very, very simple. And then once that's set up, it's just zip wall pulls, and then you've got a booth. And if a lot of times we have too high a ceiling, so we have a set of 2x4s and we build a booth with plastic, and that takes about 2 hours start to finish with one person.
Yep.
So usually never more than 3 or 4 hours to set up a proper spray booth. Most of the time, it's about an hour and a half. But that's days of investing in those things. So
I keep thinking that maybe there's like a time exchange, like there is a currency exchange between Canada and America, right? The dollars aren't equal. I'm wondering if time is not equal between America and Canada, because you can just do stuff so freaking fast.
Man, I could do like an hour long IGTV video start to finish and just show you. It's really simple.
I think that would be awesome if you do it as a live, because if you do it as a live, you can post a longer video on IGTV. Like, this would be on IGTV, but if I sent you the video, you can only put 15-minute clips.
Yeah.
So if you do that and start a live,
yeah.
and demonstrate that, I think that'd be fascinating. So you have a fan, you have something that slides over that fan that then makes a box.
Yeah.
And then you have that box goes into another box that opens up wider to a larger box.
No, it's just the fan and then like the box.
Oh, okay. So the flange is attached to the big box.
Yes.
By 40.
Yeah, it's just on the back. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you will take a big piece of sheet metal that's cut with a square that's 40 by 40. It has a grid in the middle?
Yeah.
An X. You put filters in, and then that runs to a narrower spot that the fan attaches to.
Yeah, with a 20-inch flange, and that goes. But it was $1,500 to get them made. I had to take the measurements. I had to take them the fan. It took them 2 weeks. Like, they built them, and I think they were $1,500 each, so $3,000, and I have two of them. But it's money well spent.
Now, what is the advantage of that large 40 by 40 opening versus the 20-inch?
Yeah, it's like airflow really. So like your filters are going to clog up much faster on just throwing a filter over the fan, and you're also going to blow debris out onto people's decks and stuff. So then you're going to have to spend time covering their decks because it'll suck it through the filters in that situation. So if you have four, that's the right surface area. Like those are the right calculations for 5,500 CFM, and so that way the debris won't go through the fan. Um, and To be honest with you, I don't know why, but I just noticed like, well, probably because the calculations are there, but the steady stream of airflow is just different. It feels more voluminous in a way, like it just moves better as opposed to like really faster and narrower. And we have like no dust in our finishes. We had a bit of an issue the other day because we didn't use the box, and like I was like, "Where's this dust come from?" Like I don't get it, but it's because we had to put the fan up on a window, and so when the fan was off the floor and up on a window, you're sucking in at the same height your cabinet is. So if you're walking, that's debris getting picked up and put in to the finish, as before everything stays low. Like I gotta do videos of like the spray and it just disappears. Like I'd be comfortable spraying almost anything other than isocyanates without a mask in front of that fan. Like you do not smell it, and clients don't smell it either. So it's very effective.
So now with 5,500 CFM of air leaving a home,
Mm-hmm.
how do you control makeup air?
So yeah, that's a really good question. That was a challenge. I would say for most of the year, it's not hard. Most of the year, you just open a door. What we do is a lot of the houses are big, so we'll have an opening the furthest distance away from the fan, and we turn up the client's heat to like 40 degrees. We just crank the heat. And then by the time that air gets through the house to the fan, it's warm. So we'll have a little thermometer. It always stays about 20 degrees Celsius, which is whatever. I think that's 75 Fahrenheit. And so we just make sure that it's good for the coating, especially the CVs, the Chem Life. That needs to stay at like above 20 Celsius for the first 48 hours to be really effective. And the vinyls aren't a big deal. They can spray them in the cold. But yeah, in the winter, we have an 80,000 BTU heater. And so we just have a propane tank and we stick that heater inside the door and it just blows the flame and we're sucking in like minus 20 degree air and it's plus 20 by the time it gets to us. It's really cool. And it's not that scientific. It's just an 80,000 BTU heater, and it's not a big one. It's a small one. Because if you get the big industrial ones, which is what I got in the first place, because I really like nice shit, I got the good one. But then you need a 100-pound tank to pressurize it. So it didn't work. I learned that the hard way.
Did somebody get a great deal on a heater then?
Yeah. No, I had to return it.
Oh, you returned it. Okay.
I couldn't use it. Yeah. So I got it from Home Depot. You know, it was like called Mr. Heater, and it works really well. It's 40 to 80,000, and I think the adjustability is good because if it's like plus 10 out, then you just need 40,000 BTUs, and then all of a sudden.
Bullet heater?
What's that?
A bullet heater?
Yeah, it's like an open flame.
Yeah, but
So
and
it's
it's tubular, like a sideways bullet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Tubular. Yeah. And so you need a lot of, so make sure you don't run it with doors closed or you'll die of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the heater is the last thing to go on. It's like
now, are you filtering your intake air into your space, or you're just assuming that you're moving so much air that any little particulates will go away?
Almost never filtering it.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Never had a problem, man. Like I'm talking, there's no specs. So, sometimes we will maybe like even the last one we did, they had a cat and a dog, didn't filter anything. It was fine.
Maybe you have cleaner air in Canada.
Maybe, but we do make sure. I do tell the clients they need to leave the house on the day we were spraying finish coats, just so they're not walking around. Because if somebody is walking around and doing stuff, it will get sucked in. So as long as there's stillness behind the booth, then that's fine.
God, that's
actually
brilliant.
Yeah, we actually started doing, so when I was training the two guys doing kitchens, we started having some problems with stuff in the finish and we couldn't figure it out. And you know what it was in the end? It was the third person lingering. So I told that person to go out there and sit on their phone for 2 hours while we sprayed and we had no problems. It was just like, it was like a third person in the area, right? So if you have if you have your drying rack is the furthest thing behind you, and you've got the sprayer and you've got the person passing doors, and they're on the other side of the drying rack, nothing's getting stirred up to go onto the rack. So it's perfect.
And so you are essentially building a booth around the kitchen that has just a giant hole for air intake.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even plastic off the space. We'll just leave the space wide open.
So you're spraying cabinet boxes.
Well, we don't spray that. Yeah, we can spray cabinet boxes pretty easily, like in an open space, if the booth is on the right side of it.
So because 5500 CFM with that big open flange is moving a lot of air.
Yeah, like on our sites, like it's not like you don't spray and like you see the stuff going around. You spray and you see it go gone, like it's out of there. So it's not like it used to be. We've got it pretty dialed, and we always make sure that we set that booth up. That's probably the most complicating part to explain to someone who refinishes kitchens, like a new person, is consulting them in where to set that booth up.
Yeah.
And that's taken a long time to figure out. You know, I look at the weather before we set up the booth. I'm like, okay, where's the prevailing winds coming from? And are they coming into the booth? If they are, then that's no good. So if they're going, if our intake air is a window over there and the winds are going that way, then we're not going to blow out and have the vapors go boom and get sucked right back in the window and get us high again. We want the vapor going the other way. So like you need to check the wind direction and all that kind of stuff too.
It's awesome though. Yeah.
So, and sometimes it just doesn't work out that well. And sometimes, you know, you got to fight the odds, but we do our best. And that's where like getting a good fan with good static pressure comes in handy. Because if you don't have that, then any little gust or step, like the pressure outside is actually quite heavy, you know, so that can change things quite a bit.
Do you know what the make of this fan is? This 55.
Yeah,
what is it?
Lou just got one. He texted me a picture yesterday.
No way. What's it called?
Sure Flame. They're made in Canada. They're made like 3 hours away from me.
And it's a 20-inch fan?
Yeah, you can get them on Global Industrial. But I will be honest, I think they have one that is 4,000 CFM, but it handles a lot more static pressure. And I've been more inclined to buy that one, but I just don't have time to redo the setup, and it's been working great. So, so yeah, they're about $1,000 each. We got a bunch of them, but we got them used off because they don't die. That's the thing, is they come with like your regular like half horse motor. Like it's like they weigh 90 pounds each, so they're not easy to just move around, but they're a good industrial fan.
Wow. And they run off of 110 regular electricity.
Yeah. And they're not like, I think it's half horse or something, so you can actually run two of them off one receptacle. Yeah, the 12-inch fan you can't though. The 12-inch fan is 1 horsepower. So that's one I've always wanted to get, just to see how it would work, because it's 12 inches, but it still weighs 100 pounds, but it handles way more ducting, like so static pressure. So like if you don't have a fan that can handle static pressure, you can't use ducting, and we never use ducting. That's one of the things I try and steer people away from, is don't use ducting. Like I see all these snakes of ducting going down hallways. Like you have no idea how much that reduces your airflow by like 70%.
So where is the air that you're blowing 5,500 CFM back into a house someplace? Oh man, you there?
I'm here now. Yeah.
All right. So you're blowing 5,500 CFM of air back into a house.
No, out of the house.
But you're not ducting. So how are you not ducting the air out?
Because the fan is right at the door.
So you're spraying wherever the kitchen is, you're spraying the cabinets right by the front door.
Yeah. Well, there's usually like a back door, a patio door, or a window, a big window that you open up that's near the kitchen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll be honest, like a lot of the kitchens we do don't have the face frames you have. So when we do the on-site spraying, there's really just a strip of crown molding and maybe a fridge end gable. So it's.
Oh, okay.
it's not, we don't do a lot of boxes. We're doing one right now with boxes, like as we speak, but it just happens to be that there's a door there, so it works. But ducting, I strongly discourage against ducting. It's really like you feel the turbulence like in the front of the fan. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Unless your fan can handle it. Like a SureFlame explosion-proof 1 horsepower fan will handle it, but that fan costs $3,000. It's meant for it. It's not like it's not $250 off Global Industrial. It's not the one of those yellow ones.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Those yellow ones work. I tape them together. Like I put 2 together and I tape them. So you've got whatever, 5,000, but no ducting. And then it works pretty good.
Oh man. Now you got me questioning everything.
Yeah, I'll just do some videos and post them or whatever for people. And I know that not everybody's spaces are the same and it's not always going to be equal, but yeah, there's all sorts of different ways you can put like a little subsidiary fan in like in a dead zone corner and just help that air move towards the suction area, stuff like that. So yeah.
I know the answer to this question, but I'm not going to say that, but Fuchs Furniture Painting, what sanding machine do you use on doors?
What sanding machine? I just posted the video today.
Video.
What's that?
This guy just made a video.
I'm very opinionated on it.
Follow him. You're a Merca guy, right?
I like Merca, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that goes hand in hand with quality of life. My video, I think there's a lot of truth to it. Like if you're someone that goes and sands a kitchen island or something, fine. Like maybe there's not a huge difference. But if you're sanding 40 door frames or walls of shiplap or 40 doors, and like I'm gonna be weaker at the end of the day if I use a Festool. I guarantee it. And if I have a weaker climbing session, I'm gonna be pissed. Or if I'm too tired to like read a story to my kids, I'm gonna be pissed. So take it as you will. But why would you not use a tool that is easier on your body? Just like I just can't fathom why you wouldn't.
Wow. I don't know. For me, I like the Festool if I'm going to sand all day because the switch, and you can like hold it different ways and it's easier if you're going to sand. And then the Merca is nice if you're doing quick detailed stuff because it is lighter and easier to move around. But that paddle is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I don't doubt you. Like I trust you completely. I've never had a problem with it. So, I mean, I hold the Merca in so many different ways, and so. But
I love
it. Phil did mention
on that video.
What's that?
You were like, at the end of the day, the work it ends up like you were like, this is the same, this is the same, this is the same. Like you get the same outcome.
Right.
This one is easier on your body.
Yeah.
I think that is important to highlight that we're talking about. They both get you the same result. Just like there's a bunch of air-assisted airlesses, different guns and stuff, and they will pretty much all get you the same result.
Oh yeah, like I don't think like I'm not dissing Festool at all. It's a fantastic machine, and they're long-lasting machines. They're great company. I've had good customer service with them, but you know, I've had so many sanders go down. You know, like I've broken a Planex. I broke my 2 Leros sanders recently. Like there's a part. Do you have a Leros yet?
No.
Yeah, that is a futuristic machine. I don't post about it because it's just so effective. I don't post it.
Have you tried
what's that?
The new Planex?
No, I haven't. The Leros is a game changer by far. So for skimming ceilings, like with the Mark V, it's a system that can't be beat. So we've been skimming thousands of square feet of ceiling. But yeah, there's a
preferred method for the Mark V.
What's that?
Do you spray and knife it every time? Do you spray the first coat and then spray a coat and knife it?
No, we spray and knife it. Yeah. Do you find you can get away without knifing it? Because I would love to know that.
We're going to be trying that.
They told me I could, but that's the sales rep was like, yeah, some guys just spray it and don't knife it, and I was like, I looked at it, I was like, yeah, we're knifing it. That's not happening.
I could see how the theory of it sort of makes sense.
Yeah, it's not as like an effective a machine as I thought. If you're doing a lot of work, it's like if when we do whole houses, we bring it. If we're doing a 400 square foot ceiling, we just do it by hand. It's faster than getting the machine, and it's faster than cleaning it out, and it's not that hard. So, um, yeah, and it's every texture is different, right? Like knockdown. Sometimes knockdown because when you're spraying it and tipping it off, you need 3 coats, but other times you can just knife it once and then spray 1 coat and be done. So there's different ways to do it. Yeah. Painted popcorn. I got a question today about painted popcorn. Like, how do you remove painted popcorn? Well, we just don't anymore. We just don't do it. We use concrete filler and we just skim that over top. Don't even try.
I've yet to come across that.
Yeah, you probably won't on your jobs, but a lot of people do it, and the key is to balance it out. Have every one of your teammates trained. So we have a job coming up in May where it's like a 3,000 square foot house. All of the ceilings are textured and painted. So we're not going to sand them at all. We're just going to start skimming. But 3,000 square feet, we're going to divide that by 6 people. So that's 500 square feet each, and then we're going to probably divide that by 2. So that's 250 square feet each per day. So 250 square feet is about 2 hours of skimming. And so 2 hours per person for 2 days, and you'll get the whole place skimmed once. And that's pretty good because I don't want people skimming for 5 hours. It's just too hard on their body. So if you plan that out like that, then it works really well and everybody's happy.
Lena, did you hear that?
What?
I think Lena, I saw her, she was watching earlier. Someone who came to ZKFS, I talked to her today. She's skimming out. She's doing 11 gloss rooms in her boutique hotel.
Oh, fuck.
And she's not a professional painter, but she's learning how to do Holland lac so she can do the rooms in her boutique hotel. And she's skimming like crazy. So I love that as a professional painter who is in the best shape of any painter I know, you're still saying we're not going to skim for more than 2 hours a day.
I just don't think it's, well, you want your people to be happy. If you tell someone, oh, hey, I got this job, we're going to be skimming next week. You're going to be skimming all next week. He's going to hate his life, or she, or whoever. Look at this. This is a $9,000 massage chair. I bought that thing because I had to plaster a 11,000 square foot house. It was 80,000 square feet of plaster. And I thought my body was going to get destroyed. This was like maybe 6 years ago. So I bought that chair to get through it. And ever since then, I've decided that I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah.
You are a Zen dude.
What?
You are a Zened out dude, man.
I don't know, man. I'm just getting old. So, yeah.
I love it. Well, we have 3 questions that we ask everybody at the end of every ZKFS, at the end of every ZK Live. So I've skimmed for 10 hours a day. Raul, that's her husband. What they're doing to this boutique hotel is unbelievable for a couple who, like, they're not professional tradespeople.
No, and that's super proud what they're doing. Like, that's amazing. Great job. Just try not to do that over and over and over. Like, you can do it a few times, but you will know it's not sustainable. And like, I had to make a decision like 5 years ago. Like, do I want to do this for the next 25 years or not? It was getting hard, and like, so hence the dustless sanding equipment, hence the lightweight sanders, hence like the sprayers that spray mud, like all of this, and hence like the mathematical equations to skim ceilings. Like, it's very sustainable. Like, right now I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. And I think I could do this for another 30 years easily.
Yeah.
So if you're grinding every day, it's not going to be that way. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I think that the takeaway from all of this is, if you're a professional guy doing this every day for a career, is spend more time thinking about what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You'll never be sad that you spent 5 hours thinking out a job to do it in 2 hours.
Totally. So are these questions?
All right. So I need a DIY painting tip.
DIY paying tip. Get a light. Get good light.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I need your favorite piece of painting paraphernalia.
Definitely my Sata 5000 with my kids and my dog on it.
Love it.
And I use it, by the way. People ask if I don't use it, but I definitely use it.
And you keep it super clean?
Yeah, I just use it for clears.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you have to clean those guns even better than you clean the pigmented ones, right?
You have to be sure of them for sure, yeah.
That always gets me with the clear, when you spray clear, is like you're cleaning invisible things. And oftentimes I've messed up when cleaning out clears and not clean them hard enough.
Yeah.
Like, oh, looks good.
Yeah.
All right. Now I need your most embarrassing, like, horror story moment where you lost a ton of money on a job or did something horrible that keeps you up at night, that you regret deeply, and that you've never told anybody, and that you're going to share with the world right now.
Okay, well, I don't know if I have one that I've never told anybody. I pretty much tell everything, but we definitely almost, well, we didn't, but I came close to burning down a $12 million house, pretty close. We were staining all the woodwork in this house, and you hang your stain rags out to dry, and they're spontaneously combustible. That's a real thing.
Yep.
I don't know if you've ever had it happen, but
I have.
had it happen. They hired a cleaning company, and they took our rags and threw them in the dumpster. It was minus 30 that night, and the dumpster lit on fire, and there was 70-foot flames in the air right next to this $12 million house. And the owners were from Texas, and they'd fly in once every 2 months on their private jet, and they'd stop in and be like, "Hey, great job. All right, see you later." And then they'd fly home. And they flew in that night. They drove into their driveway to 70-foot flames in the air. Yeah. Nicest couple ever. They weren't even mad. I couldn't wrap my head around it. What's his name? His name's what's that?
The time that we had rags spontaneously combust, it was the GC's. We had all of our rags laid out in the grass all over this backyard.
Yeah.
We're doing a deck and penetrating oil on hardwood. And there was probably 50 soaked rags laying all over the grass to dry. Yeah. And the helper thought he was being a hero and picked them up, put them in a plastic bag, tied it up, and put it in the living room.
Jesus.
And all of a sudden we were like, what does that smell? Everybody searched the house. They found nothing. We were talking to the plumbers in the basement. Was it you? Nope. And we all went back to work.
Wow.
And like a half hour later, the actual flames started coming out of the bag, and we threw the bag into the little koi pond, and it caught on fire and burned for however long.
Yeah.
Spontaneous combustion, real thing.
Yes, and also I will, on that note, if you don't mind, I also got an insurance claim because of another fire regarding sanding fine paints of Europe. I told you about that?
Yes, I remember this.
Yeah, so the fire inspector, it's still an undetermined situation, but it never went through my insurance. They don't know, but they think that one of the bags of our vacuum spontaneously combusted from sanding fine paints of Europe. They don't know this, but the vacuum that we did use wasn't an anti-static vacuum. So if you are going to vacuum coatings, make sure it's an anti-static system in case you ever get investigated for it.
That's a huge point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be adding static or spark to oil-based, solvent-based dust.
They took and did samples of our dust and all this stuff and tried to ignite it and everything, and they said it was impossible. Another fire inspector, but then you just got these two insurance companies just fighting each other, and they'll do whatever it takes. The guy was weird. He followed me all the way to my storage locker and then snuck in, and he's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "I want to see your vacuums." And I was like, "Fuck, man, this is weird." Here, take whatever you want. I don't care. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
well,
crazy stuff. Yeah.
Dick, thank you for your second time on ZK Live. I hope I was a little bit better at interviewing this time than my first time.
Felt really good. I felt like I was more awake this time too. I was really tired last time. So I appreciate it. Yeah.
I really appreciate it too. Everybody, if you're not following NWR, you're missing out on a great follow. You guys continue to push the limit of getting high level work done fast. It's so inspiring. I'm going to have all of my guys watch some of your videos this week. And you've inspired us to be even more efficient.
Sweet, sweet. That's great. I'll post some stuff about the spray booth. I really want people to get that going on, because I don't think they really realize if they just took a week off work, got these things made, invested a bit of money, like you really have like, it's a really, really good system. I will say that.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing that video.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Nick.
Peace.